The more often you activate a new pattern of thought or behavior, the stronger that pathway becomes. Over time, the old pathway weakens while the new one becomes dominant. This process explains how people can learn new skills, recover from brain injuries, and transform long-standing habits. But there is an important challenge. The brain prefers familiarity. Neural circuits that have been active for years require less energy to activate than new ones. That is why change often feels uncomfortable at first. When you attempt to behave differently, your brain interprets the unfamiliar pattern as a disruption of its established order. It pushes you back toward what feels known and predictable. This resistance is not a sign that change is impossible. It is simply the brain protecting its existing wiring. To overcome this resistance, consistent repetition is necessary. When you repeatedly practice a new behavior or mental state, you gradually train the brain to treat it as the new normal. Studies using brain imaging show that repeated mental rehearsal can activate many of the same neural circuits as physical experience. In other words, the brain does not fully distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. This is one reason visualization and intentional focus can influence behavior and performance. When you mentally rehearse a new identity, you are effectively training your brain to recognize that identity as familiar. Over time, this begins to influence how you think, act, and respond to situations. However, neuroplastic change is not only about thinking differently. Emotions also play a powerful role in shaping the brain. Strong emotional experiences release neurochemicals that signal the brain to store information more deeply. This is why emotionally intense memories are easier to recall. If you repeatedly combine new thoughts with strong positive emotions such as gratitude, confidence, or determination, you accelerate the process of forming new neural circuits. Gradually, these emotional states become easier to access because the brain has learned them through repetition. As these new circuits strengthen, something interesting happens. Your perception of reality begins to change. Because your brain filters the world based on its existing wiring, new neural patterns can alter what you notice and how you interpret events. Opportunities that once seemed invisible may become obvious. Situations that once triggered stress may feel manageable. In this way, changing the brain can eventually change how you experience life itself. This idea has been widely discussed by researchers studying neuroplasticity and is frequently explored in the work of thinkers such as Joe Dispenza, who emphasizes the connection between thought patterns, brain wiring, and personal transformation. While interpretations of these ideas vary, the underlying neuroscience is clear: the brain is not a static machine. It is a dynamic system constantly adapting to how it is used. Every day, your brain is either reinforcing old circuits or building new ones. The key factor is repetition combined with attention and emotion. Change does not happen instantly, but small shifts repeated consistently can gradually reshape the architecture of the brain. The habits you practice today become the neural pathways of tomorrow, and over time, those pathways shape the person you become. Understanding neuroplasticity reveals something both challenging and empowering. The patterns running in your mind are not fixed traits, they are learned programs. And like any program, they can be rewritten. The process requires patience, awareness, and consistent effort, but the science suggests that real change is possible. By intentionally choosing where you place your attention and what patterns you repeat, you begin to influence the physical structure of your brain itself. In that sense, changing your life may begin with something surprisingly simple: changing how you use your mind.